Hey guys, back again for another video. Sorry if there's any background noise, neighbors being a little bit noisy, but okay. Anyways, making another video today. Today we're gonna be going over special walls. Um, so last video I think we went over. Actually, it'll probably be down here somewhere. Physical walls, and there are honestly there's a lot more variety of physical wall options in the OU tier than there are special walls. The big four that I can think of I listed here, there are always going to be some other options, so maybe I'll actually add a couple, but in an effort to make my videos a little shorter, I'm trying to plan out most of the video in advance. I might add another couple. So when you're listing off special walls in the OU tier, you can't go anywhere without naming the big one, Chansey, the big fat pink blob. Chansey kind of surpasses Blissey. Blissey has a couple advantages, one being leftovers recovery, but Chansey has better mixed bulk, and with Eviolite, better bulk in either category at the same time, honestly. It just does really surpass Blissey by a very substantial amount. So there's a lot of great moves here, and just, this HP stat, of course. Wish, I would go with either Wish or Soft Boiled. You can pick based on, do you want to try Wish Passing? Soft Boiled gives you some more immediate recovery options, and it can potentially open up another slot. One advantage of Blissey is that Blissey does have a little bit better of an offensive presence, but that said, 75 is hardly an offensive presence. But Seismic Toss is really Chansey's main method of doing damage. Toxic Wish Protect Stall is pretty great. Other options are Heal Bell, Heal Bell, Soft Boiled are sets. I know Thunder Wave is pretty popular. We could throw in Thunder Wave here. I think Chansey can be a Stealth Rocker too, but that's a little rare, not super rare. I've seen it before, but alright. So next is Heatran. Heatran's one of those Pokemon who doesn't really scream Special Wall just off its stats, but kind of with investment can really and especially thanks to its typing, which gives it only 3 weaknesses. It really kind of holds its own, and Wall's a great chunk of the tier. Stealth Rock, Lava Plume, Toxic Protect. This is a pretty standard set. Other move options, you might throw in Roar here. Earth Power can nab other Heatrans, especially if you feel like throwing in some speed creeping like that. You can just speed creep a little bit, nab other Heatrans for the 2-hit KO. Instead of Stealth Rock, you could do also Lava Plume. The possibilities actually just really go on with Heatran. You've got a lot of great moves here. Taunt. And Heatran can also be a pretty good offensive Pokemon. So, Heatran is one of those Pokemon that we really don't know what it's carrying in the fight once it comes in. I think Specially Defensive is the most common set, but you probably will find the Stray, Choice Scarf, Eruptran, or something. Alright, so next, let's do Sylveon. So, I believe Sylveon's actually the only evolution to be in OU now. Yeah, I'm almost positive. But Sylveon has a monstrous special defense stat that is only compounded by a pretty solid HP stat, and actually has a pretty great offensive presence. If you again like Heatran with Pixelate Hyper Voice, if you actually went all the way in and went like that, we'll probably go into that maybe a different video. But 350 plus Pixelate really can hurt, even if you made that specs. But anyways, I digress. Trying to make videos quicker. Alright, anyways. So, Hyper Voice, Wish, Protect, Heal Bell. I don't think Moonlight is an option, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so Moonlight is not an option. So Wish Protect is the most reliable method of recovery that Sylveon really gets, but it has pretty great survivability. Heal Bell allows you to help your team out a lot. Hyper Voice is a pretty solid offensive option, coming off of 256, not even bad. Heatran has actually a pretty good uninvested special attacks. 296 is a pretty good offensive presence. But Sylveon also has one with Pixelate plus 256. Wish, Protect, Heal Bell. Fairy is a pretty great offensive and defensive typing. Just because it's resisted and hate by such few things, and weak to such few things. Next off thing I want to go into is Togekiss. Togekiss is a BL threat and also has a pretty great offensive presence. But I'm going for a more kind of defensive role here. Air Slash, Roost, Toxic Defog. Serves as a great defog user for a team. Air Slash, Serene Grace is pretty good for stalling out. It's better. It doesn't have the speed stat to abuse the flinches, but it still could be useful nonetheless. Next, I want to go into let's add a couple more. Tentacruel is one that comes to my mind actually. Pretty solid defense stat. Go for like Black Sludge, Liquid Ooze. Pretty interesting set. Really helps out with people who are trying to sap their HP, like Venusaur, Ferrothorn with Leech Seed, or Leech Seed users in general. It's really potentially pretty useful with that. And you can go for a Protect, Toxic Spikes, and then maybe like a Rapid Spin and a Scald or something, and that would be a pretty. Actually, it says physically defensive, but Tentacruel is a pretty abusable special defense stat. So with that, we get to 372, and that's pretty good. Besides that, I'm trying to think. No real Pokemon come to mind, but special walls can be kind of made pretty easily. Latias is one actually. Yeah, I can go into Latias. Latias isn't a super common special wall anymore. Usually more like an offensive defogger with its it's like a sliding scale between Latios and Latias. It's like, do you want more offense or more defense? But they both have more offensive presences nowadays. But always, if you wanted, you could go for you could do like a Healing Wish. Actually isn't that good on a stall Pokemon, so we could just do like Wish, or actually Roost is probably better just because Latias has a hard time with some hits. So Roost, Defog, Toxic, and maybe like a Psyshock. Toxic tends to be really good on defensive Pokemon just because they can stall out the moves. It says fast, bulky support, but I really don't think. I think Latias probably really appreciates having this extra defensive bulk. So, I mean, that's probably a pretty standard set right there. That's a very solid stat right there. 394. Yeah, so those are some pretty common Pokemon. Special walls tend to fit into more defensive teams. Every team can, especially, like, I'd say it's hard to fit in special walls, because special walls are really not as necessary as physical walls on most team styles, because physical threats tend to be more predominant thanks to Swords Dance, Dragon Dance, as opposed to special threats. You usually have to rely on Choice Specs and Life Orb to do their damage. Very few of them having Nasty Plot, and that means that special walls aren't as in demand, and that's why there's probably fewer of them in the OU tier. But the few that are there, I'd say these three especially, probably even these two are the predominant two, are pretty epic. One other one I can actually add to the list is going to be Tyranitar, who's you might kind of like scoff at a little bit, but if we go Leftovers, Sandstream, and then we go like Stealth Rock, Protect, Toxic, and maybe like I don't know, what's a good move for this last slot? We can just throw Roar. I don't know, you can figure out a set. But Understand with these two boosted. Say that. Actually, let's just make that like Stone Edge just to avoid Taunt Bait. But like this or something, this actually becomes. This is not even bad bulk already like this. Like this is some pretty solid special bulk and really good mixed bulk if you look at the 256 here. And a solid attacking stat. Tyranitar, but the biggest thing is, by boosting this up so much, Sandstream actually boosts his special defense by 50%. So this becomes almost, almost a 500 special defense stat, which is pretty monstrous. It does suck, and some of these Pokemon don't have reliable recovery, so Tentacruel, Heatran, Tyranitar, none of them have very reliable recovery, so you might want to be hesitant of using them very much. Heatran, seems to get by, but also their walling potential just seriously hindered. So, yeah, I think that's what I want to say. Yeah, they fit into balanced teams, defensive teams, stall teams. Most stall teams will want to have a special wall. And special threats are running around. It's just there's not as much high of a demand for them because they tend to not be able to pack as much of an long-term threat in a match as a physical threat running, like, let's say, like, Sword Dance Garchomp is like a much bigger threat to keep in your mind as opposed to like Choice Specs Keldeo. Even though Choice Specs Keldeo is a monster, I feel like I'm kind of getting my message across that without the method to boost up, like let's imagine like if Keldeo had Nasty Plot, like crap, it's kind of like that kind of thing. Anyways, I want to thank you for watching, and I hope you have a nice day. See you guys later.